you should be able to get on and off the floor by yourself. Anything that you're doing where you're standing still for a period of time, you can use as an opportunity to practice balance. We're not going to have any falls at home. Hey there, I'm Dr. Christina, a doctor of physical therapy for 12 years, an orthopedic certified specialist. I'm the co-owner of a small physical therapy practice in Southeast Houston where we love to help active adults stay active. We've been told all our lives that getting older leads to people slowing down, leads to more falls, leads to weakness, and us becoming more isolated as society and individuals. I actually have a client right now who tells me that her group of friends jokes with her that she is going to be the next one to fall because at this point, they've all had falls. And the thing I love about my client's attitude is she tells them, no, I'm not. I am doing things to prevent that from happening. I'm taking control of my life. I'm taking control of my aging process and maintaining independence over my body and autonomy over my body. So today, I wanted to share with you, as you get to our later stages in life, beginning in our 50s or 60s, depending on if you are male or female, what your ethnic background is, what your health and wellness background is. As far as medical issues, this is when we typically start to see exercise being even more important to maintain independence, maintain balance, and maintain bone density and strength in our bodies. So today, I wanted to go over with you 5 exercises that I love to prescribe for the population starting in your 50s in order to help keep you as independent and functional as possible, prevent bad posture from setting in, and make sure that you are not going to be the next person to fall in your group of friends. So the first exercise that I wanted to go over with you is a very simple one, sit to stands, all right? I go over this exercise all the time with clients, and what I tell them is a sit to stand is basically a squat with a rest break in the middle, all right? It's the same movement. You're just sitting down and then taking a pause and then standing back up. So sit to stands are a great way to start working toward being able to squat independently or get out of chairs independently. Now, when I'm talking squats, I'm not talking deep, full body, all the way to the ground squats. I mean, if you drop something on the floor and you need to pick it up, squatting can be one of the best ways to do that to prevent back pain and other issues. So you bend and snap. So in order to do squats properly, we want to make sure that we're using the right body mechanics. If we're not using the right body mechanics, it's going to make this movement a whole lot harder for us. In this demonstration that I'm going to have for you, I'm going to go over how when you're squatting, you want to make sure that you hinge from your hips, not your knees first. You want to make sure that with that motion, you are allowing your chest to come forward in order to counterbalance your bottom so that you don't lose your balance. You're going to keep your knees in line with your shins rather than letting them travel forward early on in the squats, and this is going to prevent knee pain from coming on. And then to come up from the squat, we're going to make sure that we're using our glutes and our core rather than our back extensors to rise up out of that squat. I can't tell you how many times I work with people and they say, I can't squat, it hurts my back. And as soon as we go over how they could use their glutes and their core better, they all of a sudden can do squats so much more independently and they can be more independent in their daily lives. So squats are a really important exercise and sit to stands are a great way to get into that. The next exercise that I like people to work on, again, for functional reasons, to make sure that you stay as independent as possible into your later stages in life. Doesn't matter how old you are, you should be able to get on and off the floor by yourself. Let's say you're having a rough day, you're pretty tired. Okay, I understand that. We can use something to help us get up every now and then. But if you want to maintain independence and balance, you need to challenge yourself to be able to get off that floor without needing something to hold on to. And that will keep you being active with your kids, your grandkids, keep you from having to move into a facility where you need help with someone maintaining your space. You can maintain your own space at home. So with lunges, some of the biggest cues that I give is just like the sit to stance. We're going to make sure and bend from our hips first rather than our front knee, okay? So you're going to hinge from your hips, you're going to bend your back knee down straight towards the ground, okay? There should be no forward movement with our lunge. It should be straight down to the ground. And then when we're ready to rise up, we're going to make sure and use our front leg glutes to rise up and forward rather than using our quad muscles to just go straight up. Like I said, if you need something to hold on to for a little bit of balance, that's understandable. But I want you to make sure and use the right muscles so you can make this as easy as possible for you. A third exercise that I like to make sure we all do as we age is scapular retractions. And this is going to be really important for our posture because, especially in today's society, if you have a desk job and you are at that desk job for your entire career and you're getting towards retirement age, what do you think your posture is going to look like by that time of 30 plus years of sitting at the computer hunched over, right? So scapular retraction exercises are a great exercise to do to work against that computer tension. Or let's say you don't spend a lot of time on the computer, but you drive a lot for work. Same thing, being in that rounded posture, forward head, doing shoulder blade squeezes can counteract that motion and really give you better balance in your posture. So when you're doing scapular retractions, what you want to keep in mind is most people, when I cue them to do this, what I see right away is when I say squeeze your shoulder blades, most people will squeeze like this. All right, that's a lot of upward movement, overuse of our upper trap muscles. So instead, we should be doing scapular retractions first by pushing our shoulders away from our ears and then opening up just enough that you feel a neutrality in your chest. You're no longer rounded and you're just in neutral. That is how we want to do a true scapular retraction, using your lower trapezius muscles more than your upper trapezius muscles. Our fourth exercise that's going to be very important for you to do in your 50s and 60s is going to be thoracic extension. So for the same reason, if you've been working at that computer job, if you've been driving for work, if you love to read at night and you end up in that hunched position at the end of the night, we want to work against that, okay? Our bodies are meant to move. Our bodies like to move, and they like to be balanced in movement, not always moving in one direction. So thoracic extensions are a great exercise that you can do anywhere and use all kinds of equipment to achieve. And it can feel really great when you've been in this hunched over posture for forever. So what you're going to do for thoracic extensions is you're going to find a surface, either a wall or a surface about waist height. You're going to place your hands on there, back away, and allow your chest to fall forward so that your thoracic spine can extend. Now, you have 3 different parts of your spine. You have your cervical, your thoracic, and your lumbar. Thoracic is going to be that middle part of your spine that is any part that your rib cage touches. That is your thoracic spine. So when you're doing this exercise, you're trying to get extension, not rounding, but extension, tight movement throughout your entire thoracic spine, because that's the exact area that most of us spend hunched over. If you've seen folks with that Quasimodo hunchback, or you hear people say a widow's hump, that's what they're talking about when we have that flexion and we don't counterbalance it with extension. And that is why thoracic extension is such an important exercise to use as we get older. Our last exercise that's going to be very important for anyone to do as we get older is going to be, is going to be for balance, all right? Now, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of balance and what influences balance, and we'll do that on another video. But today, what we're going to do is talk about working on balance at home, things that you can do throughout your day as you're brushing your teeth, cooking dinner, washing the dishes, anything that you're doing where you're standing still for a period of time, you can use as an opportunity to practice balance. So what you're going to do is I'm going to talk to you today about tandem balance and semi-tandem balance. You can start there if that's a good challenge, or you can regress if that's too hard. For tandem balance, what that's going to look like is you're going to imagine a tightrope walker. So someone walking with their heel to toe, all right? You're going to stand with one foot in front of the other if you can. If you cannot, you're allowed to stand off to the side just a little bit in order to give yourself a little bit of a wider base of support, okay? That's why this is so hard, because we took you from a wide base of support to a narrow base of support, okay? And so with that tandem balance, you want to make sure, I often find people tend to put most of their weight in their back foot. That's true across the board, all right? So when people are practicing one foot versus the other, they'll often have a harder time balancing when their bad leg is behind them, all right? So you're going to counterbalance that by making sure that when you stand in your tandem balance, you're going to shift your weight forward so that you've got equal weight in both feet, all right? Equal weight in both feet. We're going to hold our belly button in so our core is engaged, and we're also going to engage our inner thigh muscles. All of that together is going to give us a super solid base that we can balance, okay? Now, I do want you to practice this at first in a corner with a chair in front of you. That way, if you happen to lose your balance while you're doing this, you've got a corner to tap onto. You've got the chair in front of you. We're not going to have any falls at home, okay? But you're going to try and start with 30 seconds. If you can't do 30 seconds, that's okay. Just do what you can and work your way up. Balance, just like flexibility and strength and all of these things, can be improved no matter how old you are. It can always be improved. It just depends on how consistent you are with these exercises. So, if you're getting to your 50s and 60s, you're noticing that you're not liking how your posture is, or you're starting to have some upper back, neck pain, you have been told by your physician that you need more weight-bearing exercises because you need some more bone density. You've been told that, you need to exercise to maintain your independence, or you just want to prevent falling. Try these 5 exercises every day and make them part of your routine to remain as independent, functional, and well-balanced as possible. I know you're tired of hearing people tell you to slow down because you're getting older, or that you should not challenge yourself as much to be safe. But for those of you who are still feeling young at heart, just because you've had more birthdays and more life experience than your children or friends does not mean that you cannot maintain a healthy, active lifestyle and have the highest quality of life. So if you liked this video, you felt like it was helpful to help you maintain that independent, active lifestyle, please like, follow, and subscribe, and let me know which specific exercise you liked the most, which one was the most helpful, so I can maybe make another video diving further into that exercise.